I absolutely love this article. Mark Zuckerberg, social media is for building relationships. That is incorrect. Social media is so that they can spy on you, Mark. That's what it's for. Of course, the word spying is a little bit disingenuous because it implies lack of consent. Most people, they willingly give their information on social media. They willingly tell their birth date, their favorite activities, their political leanings, or their hot takes that they would usually share with their friends over a cold glass of beer. But those takes can also be used 10 years from now in order to get them fired. So that's what social media is for. You should understand, Mark, if something is free, chances are that you are the product, especially on the internet. And all of this, of course, is done by design, by people like Mark Zuckerberg, who hired an army of social engineers and psychologists in order to figure out how to make social media more addictive. I mean, everything from the algorithm to the news that you're getting to the layout of the website, everything is designed in order to keep people hooked. I mean, for example, did you know that if I post this video on Twitter, it will not get many views? And some people will say, aha, well, V, you need to be more popular on the Twitter. No, it's by the design of the Twitter algorithm. You see, any link that takes people away from Twitter is being suppressed by the algorithm. So if you post a YouTube video, if you post a news article, anything like that, it will get less traction than if you were just to make a Twitter post. Because the people who made Twitter, the people who organized that social media website, want people to remain on that social media website. Why do you think is it that on Facebook, the messenger system is on a different app? It's for the same reason, so that you keep getting notifications to remind you, hey, you should check out Facebook. You should look at Facebook. All of this is designed to keep the person involved and to keep them hooked. It's the same reason why you don't have a dislike button on Facebook. It's so you constantly fish for likes, so it makes it seem that you're being adored and you're getting all of this gratification that you're not getting in real life. So no, social media is definitely not for building relationships. Now, don't get me wrong. It used to be, and I think there was a small window in human history where social media was actually great, and that was when people weren't obsessed with the internet. It was a time when most people would use social media to contact friends and organize meetings in real life, organize parties and events in real life. It was a couple of months where it worked like that, and indeed, it had a positive effect. But nowadays, I go out with some of my friends and everyone is sitting on their phones. It's almost like, well, why the fuck did you leave your house then? Does this not happen to you? Like, you finally manage to get together with some friends and you're having a beer or whatever and you're sitting at a restaurant and literally everyone is with their faces in their smartphones. That's how addictive social media is. Because let's be honest, like most people who browse the internet, they're on social media. They're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. Like they're not, doing research for the new PowerPoint presentation at their university. So Zuckerberg says if you're just sitting there and consuming stuff, I mean, it's not necessarily bad. I mean, of course, he will say it's not necessarily bad. It's literally what his business revolves around. But it isn't associated with all the positive benefits you get from being actively engaged or building relationships. Like, listen, motherfucker, if I want to build relationships, I go outside. Like if I want to build relationships, I phone someone. There's absolutely no reason why you should build relationships online, because you end up like this guy in the picture. I don't know who this is. Constellation Behavioral Health, it says in the article. But you don't want to have this body posture, right? I don't necessarily want the people to spend more time with computers. I just want the time that people spend with the screens to be better. Oh, yes, absolutely. Whenever I have some health issues, whenever I have some gloomies in my life, I wonder, what would Zuckerberg wish of me? What would Mark Zuckerberg want me to do in this situation? If someone kind of gives an angry reaction, we actually don't even count that in terms of whether to show that to someone else. We just don't want to amplify the anger. I mean, yeah, internet is built around fakeness. It's the same like when you're taking a picture. Like, you don't want to take a picture when you have schmutz on your lips. You don't want to take a picture when your hair is messy. Right? You want to look as fake as possible and then have some filter. And that's how you want to present yourself to the rest of the world. Regarding his speech about social media being for building relationship, Netizens says, his shitty algorithm... See, this is why I like 9gag. I don't know, like a lot of people are giving 9gag flack and they're considering it to be a bad website. But for some reason, I keep finding it to be based lately. I don't know why that is. It's just like every time I read news from 9gag, like you get this type of thing, which you wouldn't get on BBC. You know, like they wouldn't talk about the downside, the other side of the coin. So his shitty algorithm shows 95% content and only 5% posts from your friends. This is absolutely true. Like when I go on Facebook, I am bombarded with articles, mainstream news. I barely get to see posts from friends. Why the hell is my Facebook newsfeed mostly ads, real, and random promoted articles and videos instead of posts for my friends? It's not only that, like you also get ads and political takes from companies that you disagree with. And you're bombarded with them, like almost constantly. It's like, hey, why don't you eat the bugs? Hey, have you considered turning off your air conditioner? Hey, have you considered shutting the fuck up? Like, I want to block these people. I know their message already, all right? It's not that I'm a bigot and I don't understand. Like, I already had the conversation. I already heard their takes. I already made up my mind. Can you now shut the fuck up unless you have new arguments? But there's no way of getting these people to shut up. Maybe if most of my feed wasn't ads and suggestions for groups I'd never be associated with, I wouldn't have to scroll so damn much. And maybe if you weren't stopping my friends' posts from showing up in my feed for some reason, I'd be able to connect with them more. See, the bird. The bird. You don't get these takes in the mainstream media, by the way. The CEO whose company revenues come 99% from ads. He wants us to build relationships with the advertisers. Well, your platform is 90% ads, so kind of hard to build relationships. Facebook invented the endless scrolling newsfeed. Before that, you had to click on your friends' profiles individually. And now Zuck has the gall to complain about our mindless scrolling habits. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with the netizens. But this is exactly why they disabled comment sections. Like, you don't have comment sections on mainstream media outlets. You don't have them on CNN, MSNBC. I think you don't have them on Fox News as well. And they usually say, oh, it's because of trolling. I think it's because of comments like this that the average person agrees with. Like, it's almost impossible to agree with Zuckerberg because most of the average people think like this. And if there's anything that the journalists hate the most, it's the average Joe. Like, they don't want the average Joe to have a voice. They don't want the average Joe to have their own take on whatever the article is. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Because I do care about what the average Joe thinks. Take care.